Tonight, Conestoga College finances in focus.
This is about, deliberate underfunding and bad management choices.
Reaction to the multi-million-dollar surplus and what it means.
We'll continue to hopefully have that dialogue with the college in terms of where they're going
For the future. Trade war tribulations.
Prime Minister's trying to get the best deal he can for Canadians.
Donald Trump raises tariffs. The economic uncertainty as critics
It's right now all bad.
call for countermeasures. Key lime crime.
Went into the freezer, grabbed some pie, and then left. He was in here for less than a minute.
A Kitchener shop picks up the pieces.
I'll need to replace the electronics that were stolen and fix the door.
After a bizarre bakery break-in.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a troubling incident in St. Jacobs. A girl was allegedly abducted from a home last night before she was able to escape and call for help. And now the search is on for a suspect. CTV's Heather Senerin now with the latest. Heather, Waterloo Regional Police are investigating this. What do we know so far?
Well, Alexandra, we know that it happened yesterday at around 9 p.m. and police are still trying to piece together what exactly happened, but they are calling this a targeted incident. Police say a man entered a home in the King Street North and Sawmill Road area of St. Jacobs. That's where he abducted a young girl who police say was able to escape and call 911, but she did sustain minor injuries. Now they're looking for a suspect who is being described as a brown man between 20 to 30 years old, tall with a black buzz cut and black shaved beard. He was last seen wearing a black t-shirt and light gray knee-length shorts.
So the investigation remains ongoing. Members of our major crime unit, General Investigations Unit, will be in the area today, continue the investigation. They'll be canvassing the area for video witnesses and determining what exactly happened.
Police believe this incident could be related to an ongoing investigation from May of this year. Police would not go into any detail about that incident, but say in that case, the individuals were known to each other. Anyone with information is asked to come forward. Alexandra.
Thank you for this, Heather. We will be keeping a close eye on any updates. Now, time for a check on the weather. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon now. And Ashley, it was a much cooler day than we've seen so far this week. What can you tell us about what we can expect heading into the long weekend?
Well, it was not just cooler, Alex. The air was also clear. So for many people, a very enjoyable summer day and start to August. Certainly clear, and now Environment Canada has lifted that special air statement that was throughout southwestern Ontario most of yesterday. Looking at our satellite, you can see clear skies are into the next few hours. Now, right now, as Alex mentioned, it's a little bit cooler than what we've experienced over the last few weeks. A high of just 22 degrees in Kitchener-Waterloo, down in Windsor 24, Sarnia 23, Barrie 23 as well, Toronto sitting at 25. So much cooler conditions, a little bit lower than our average this time of year, and no humidity. So feeling a little bit easier to breathe out there, Alex. Now, will these temperatures last, and how long before we get some precipitation? I'll have those details coming up a little later in the show.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. We will be looking forward to those details. Thanks so much. Next, we turn to an updated picture on the finances at Conestoga College. Once again, the school is seeing a major surplus in its last fiscal year, this time $121 million. It comes as the school recently saw job and program cuts, as well as campus closures and deferments. CTV's Karis Mapp is looking into this for us again today. And Karis, the school released this data pretty close to the provincial deadline.
That's right. They let it go down to the wire, Alexandra, but we waited all day. It wasn't until late last night that it became public, but no one from the school has made themselves available for an interview on the numbers. The last college across the province to make its documents public, Conestoga's annual report was filed Thursday evening, only hours before the deadline. The results, a surplus of over $121 million for the fiscal year ending March 31st, almost half that of the year prior, which saw more than $251 million in excess. Saying no one was available for comment, a Conestoga spokesperson emailed a statement to CTV News. It cites enrollment caps and ongoing changes to the international student program making for a difficult fiscal year. But the College Support Staff Union president isn't so convinced.
I don't see this as being right-sizing or, an international students issue. This is about, deliberate underfunding and bad management choices.
Conestoga's revenue from tuition dropped to $563 million, $119 million less than a year earlier. But the college spent $436 million on salaries and benefits, a $37 million jump from the year earlier. Over $630,000 of that going into the president's salary. This past year also saw 180 job cuts, program cuts, and campus consolidations in Kitchener and Brantford. The school also confirming that construction has been halted at their planned downtown Guelph campus until enrollment allows.
Why are we not investing in our workforce, like our real resources of support staff and faculty, rather than brick and mortar?
Regional Councillor Michael Harris, who's been critical of the college running a large surplus and the impact the international student boom at Conestoga had on regional services and planning, gave his thoughts prior to the report being published.
There was a tuition freeze happening provincially, and colleges frankly exploited, the monetary gain from international students.
I'm not going to say that we didn't need our international students or we shouldn't have them, but this was only going to last for so long. We were saturated.
According to the college's emailed statement, they expect to go into a deficit next year, but are taking steps to grow domestic enrollment.
We haven't really received the full snapshot of what the enrollment is. I mean, we saw a pretty picture that was sent out in a graph form, but we don't have the nitty-gritty.
Following years of spiking international enrollment now being scaled back, regional officials remain weary of the future.
We'll continue to hopefully have that dialogue with the college in terms of where they're going, but there's no doubt been a strain on regional resources over the last little while.
Again, this financial saga with the college has been going on for quite some time. For a deeper look at the school's report details and a look back at some significant financial statements, you can head to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Alexandra.
All right, Karis, thank you for this. And on the global stage, finances are also top of mind. Coming up later in the show, U.S. President Donald Trump follows through on his tariff threats. We'll break down what it means, who it hurts, and what the chances are of Canada working out a deal. And a 64-year-old man is seriously hurt after a crash involving a motorcycle in Kitchener earlier today. Around noon, police say the man driving the motorcycle was turning left onto Union Street when he was struck by a Jeep traveling south on Lancaster. The motorcycle driver was taken to an out-of-region hospital with serious injuries. The 58-year-old man driving the Jeep was not hurt. The intersection was closed for several hours while police investigated, but has since reopened. And York Regional Police are investigating a crash in Vaughan that left a motorcyclist badly hurt. The motorcycle and car collided shortly before 9 last night. Police say the motorcyclist was taken to hospital with a serious leg injury, but is expected to survive. The occupants of the other vehicle weren't injured. There's no word yet on what led to the crash or if any charges will be laid. A teenage girl has been sentenced to 16 months of probation for her part in the swarming death of Kenneth Lee in 2022. The girl was 14 when she and 7 other teens attacked the 59-year-old homeless man in a downtown parkette. Lee later died in hospital. The judge sentenced the teen this afternoon to 3 years, the maximum available for manslaughter in a youth case, minus 20 months of credit for the time she previously spent in custody. She will also spend up to a year in an intensive support and supervision program. A helicopter crashed south of St. Mary's today, which sent one person to hospital. Provincial police say it happened just before 1 o'clock near Thorndale. A helicopter spraying crops dropped to the ground, but it's unclear what caused the crash. A 21-year-old Bracebridge man was taken to hospital by air ambulance with non-life-threatening injuries. OPP and Transport Canada are investigating. We're learning new details about a small plane crash in Ottawa that has left the pilot dead and sent 2 passengers to hospital. As CTV's Dylan Dyson tells us, it went down in a wooded residential area less than 1 kilometre from the Ottawa airport.
A pilot is dead and 2 passengers were taken to hospital after a small plane crashed across the road from the Ottawa airport Thursday evening.
At some point in the flight, the pilot had engine problems. The engine sputtered and failed. The right engine cowling of the aircraft came open, and there was a substantial loss of engine oil that was sprayed over the windscreen.
The Transportation Safety Board says the Grumman AA-5A aircraft took off on a recreational flight from the Gatineau Airport just after 5:30. The pilot declared an emergency with air traffic control at the Ottawa Airport before crash landing 20 minutes after takeoff.
Unfortunately, the aircraft lost altitude and collided with terrain in behind me. At a distance of approximately 970 meters or 3,100 feet from the threshold of runway 14.
Residents living on the private road off Riverside Drive where the plane went down are used to aircraft flying overhead, but have never seen something like this.
It was behind me when it happened, and as I turned around, I saw something come across the road and into the hydrolites, but I did not know it was a plane until I got closer.
That's something that we often think about because we're so close to the airport. We see planes flying every day over our heads. So we see planes, so we always think of that. Someday something could happen, and so it did happen.
The TSB says the plane became entangled in live hydro wires, complicating the already dangerous rescue efforts.
Firefighters had to deal with a very complex situation to do the extrication. The plane was stable in the tree, but we performed the extrication from one of our aerial ladders.
Fire crews also worked to contain fuel spilling into the residential area.
All the windows were busted out, and I saw fuel dropping from the tail, and then I started seeing sparks all along the telephone poles.
It's not a pretty scene down there. It is unfortunate. Fortunately, there were no children on the street.
On Friday, crews removing the plane from the trees where it had been sitting 25 feet in the air since impact.
At this point in time, that's all we know. The investigation is we're in day one of this investigation.
And that was CTV's Dylan Dyson reporting. A flight attendant who was a passenger aboard the Delta plane that flipped at Pearson Airport in February accuses the airline of using an inexperienced pilot. The allegation is part of a $75 million lawsuit filed by Vanessa Miles in U.S. federal court. Miles says she was seriously hurt in the crash, and 80 people were aboard the Toronto-bound jet from Minnesota, which slammed onto the tarmac, eventually ending on its roof.
The pilot was definitely going through training. It really was a pilot that had low time on this aircraft, not abnormal. Her lawsuit claims inexperience, that there's no definition of what inexperience really means from an airline pilot perspective. She was qualified, she passed the tests, she had a license to operate this aircraft, this specific aircraft. So as far as I'm concerned, she was qualified to operate the airplane.
The allegations have yet to be tested in court. And a reminder to start your day in the know with our CTV News Kitchener newsletter. You get the best local content from CTV News straight to your inbox. We've got today's top stories, the latest weather forecast, and of course some must-see videos all in one place. You can sign up now at ctvnewskitchener.ca. The kickoff to a Carnival weekend. Coming up, we take a look at the sights, sounds, and celebrations of Caribana.
I'm Hannah Schmidt. Smashed glass, missing electronics, and a stolen slice of pie. We'll show you how the moment someone broke into a Kitchener bakery and how the small shop is still serving up sweets. That story is just ahead.
Cool conditions continuing overnight tonight with below seasonal temperatures, but will it last? I'll have those details coming up shortly in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
A bizarre break-in at a downtown Kitchener bakery has the owner scratching her head and laughing a little. Waterloo Regional Police are investigating after a suspect shattered the store's front door, stole some electronics and a slice of pie. Now the small shop is working to pick up the pieces. And CTV's Hannah Schmidt joins us now live in studio with the latest. And Hannah, the break-in was caught on surveillance video.
Yeah, that's right, Alexandra. It shows a masked suspect shattering the door of Mom's Bread and Pie Co. on King Street East. The thief is seen taking a tablet and a point-of-sale printer before casually opening the freezer and taking off with some frozen baked goods. From broken glass to stolen sweets.
It's unbelievable.
Mom's Bread and Pie Co. in downtown Kitchener is recovering after a break-in. It all unfolded just before 5 a.m. Wednesday. Owner Christy Bannon watched it unfold later on her security footage and couldn't believe what was taken.
You could hear it. It's very loud smash. And then the guy came in, he looked around, kind of pawed around the electronics in the front here, and then went into the freezer, grabbed some pie, and then left.
Staff arrived in the morning to find shattered glass and signs of the strange heist.
My employee came in 8 o'clock and noticed that the door was smashed open. So that was kind of scary for her. And I arrived shortly after. We called the police.
The suspect made off with a tablet, a point-of-sale printer, a basket of ice cream sandwiches, and a single slice of key lime pie.
Probably because it's ready to eat. So everything else is frozen and needs to be baked. So I probably might give him away if he's baking some frozen pies at wherever he's staying.
Bannon says she felt more confused than angry after watching the security footage.
Mostly I felt sorry for the person. It really felt like they just wanted to smash something, or they just wanted to cause a problem for somebody for no reason.
Police are describing the suspect as a white male with a light build, wearing a black sweater, black pants, red gloves, and sunglasses. Bannon says the estimated damage is under $5,000, but the community response is priceless.
Everybody has been absolutely amazing. People bringing us chocolate for stress eating and coffee and plants. At the end of the day, we're going to continue on as usual.
Not letting this key lime crime keep them out of where they love, spending most of their time. Waterloo Regional Police say the investigation is ongoing and are asking anyone who may recognize the suspect or has any information to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Alexandra.
Hannah, thank you for this. An 18-year-old Cambridge man is facing multiple criminal charges after a violent rampage Wednesday in some businesses in the Pine Bush Road and Franklin Boulevard area. Police say the suspect pulled a gun on an employee who reportedly wouldn't give them a refund and then went into another store, smashed a display case, and stole several BB guns. No injuries were reported. The 18-year-old suspect was arrested and charged with robbery and gun-related offenses. Meanwhile, a Woolwich man's pickup truck was impounded last night, and he's facing several charges after police say they got a series of complaints about a white Ford F-150 being driven dangerously along Arthur Street South on most weekdays. Police say they stopped it yesterday after clocking it going 132 in an 80. A 21-year-old Woolwich man is charged with several offenses, including stunt driving, speeding, careless driving, obstructing a plate, and driving with no license. The truck's impounded for 14 days and the man's license is suspended for 30 days. More appliances are using robotic technology and artificial intelligence, and now some of those items could end up in your home. Everything from robotic lawnmowers to refrigerators using AI. But is this new technology worth the added cost? CTV's Pat Foran reports.
From vacuuming your floors to cleaning your grill, today's smart appliances promise convenience at the touch of a button. But are they delivering? Consumer Reports has the latest in home and garden tech.
While these products are helpful, they tend to be pricier than their traditional counterparts, and they often have complicated setup processes and require extra tinkering to keep them working.
Take Samsung's new $5,000 bespoke refrigerator, which comes with an AI vision camera that's supposed to recognize the groceries you add to your fridge. When researchers tested the feature, it worked about half the time and struggled with packaged foods like milk and soft drinks. Evaluations of robotic lawnmowers found you'll need to pre-mow your grass to a specific height before you can set these robots loose on your lawn. And all that convenience will cost you hundreds to thousands of dollars. But it's not all bad news. Some smart products like robotic vacuums have come a long way. They're now better at dodging obstacles, navigating tight spaces, and picking up dirt along edges and in corners. And while not exactly a robot, researchers say a smart thermostat is a great investment.
These will cut down on your heating and cooling bills using AI to automatically adjust the temperature, especially when you're not home. They also connect to demand response programs from your local utility company, which can give you discounts on your bill.
So while robots are making improvements, they won't be taking over your home just yet.
CTV's Pat Foran with that report. Well, it's an August-long weekend tradition in Toronto. The color, the music, and the pageantry of the Caribbean Carnival is back for another year. The big parade takes over the lakeshore tomorrow, but as CTV's Jessica Smith tells us, the festivities are already well underway.
One of the largest festivals and parades in North America is underway in Toronto this weekend.
This amazing Toronto Caribbean Carnival, the really epicenter of diversity and culture in Toronto. Come out, have some fun, good food, good music.
The King and Queen Showcase brings together each mass band to show off their themes and costumes and helped kick things off yesterday with the winners announced today.
Queen of the band for 2025. Toronto Revelers, our King of Carnival 2025, band, Toronto Revelers.
A new addition to the free Carnival experience is the Carnival Village at Sankofa Square, running Friday and Saturday.
You got good soca music, calypso music playing. We have our food vendors here. I'm seeing like mango, coconut, soursop, ice cream.
It looked really fun to see, and we just wanted to enjoy and like watch it and be a part of it.
Everything that's happening here in the city, I'm always here.
I don't know, they say it's great, so I want to see it.
And tonight, the Ontario Steel Pan Association presents Toronto Panorama, keeping Pan alive at Lamport Stadium.
You know, steel pan music is at the heart of this festival, at the heart of our music, soca music. So it's a great opportunity to see world-class steel pan bands from right here in Canada.
The 58th annual Grand Parade is a highlight of the Toronto Caribbean Carnival weekend. It takes over the lakeshore around Exhibition Place on Saturday. The festival at its core is designed to bring people from every corner of the world together, highlighted by the 2025 festival theme, Take Me Home.
Take Me Home is about everybody not only feeling at home in the carnival, but also feeling like you are at home, your motherland, wherever that may be. This is an experience of that too.
With such a large gathering expected at the Grand Parade, safety is paramount. The Toronto Police Service will have an increased presence.
Our officers will be focused on crowd and traffic management, engaging with the community and ensuring public safety throughout the weekend.
That was CTV's Jessica Smith reporting. Now, before we head to break, let's take a live look outside. This shot is from Hespler Village Market. It's a free community event that takes place every Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. and it's a great temperature to go out and check it out right before you kick off the long weekend. A major pop superstar puts a Canadian province on the map. Still ahead, why Chapel Roan is eyeing the prairies in her latest song. But first, tariff turmoil. Canadian businesses brace for the financial fallout and what could soon cost you more.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, it was a very hot July that we saw some hot and humid days, but it seems like we had a little bit of a cool down closer to the end of the month. Now we're already in August.
Yes.
Cooler day today. Ash, what can you tell us about what we can see heading into this long weekend?
Well, look, Alex, it was, as you said, a cooler day today. Very enjoyable for many folks out there, and certainly is going to continue to be so tonight and into this evening. But, Alex, the heat is going to return just in time for our Saturday. Let's take a look outside at Hespler Village right now. You can see there are plenty of folks out there enjoying the much cooler temperatures today, and certainly breathing a little easier. Those special air quality statements Environment Canada had issued yesterday have now been lifted. That smoke and haze from the western forest fires moving past our region and certainly giving us a little bit more room to breathe. I hope everyone is having a great Friday, first day of August, and of course the first start of our spring, or summer rather, midway spring summer mark. So it is going to continue to be a nice cool evening. As mentioned, you might need even a jacket out there tonight. I'll get into that a little bit later, but first let's take a look at our futurecast here. No precipitation or cloud cover in the mix for the next few days, and it is going to continue through Saturday morning and into Saturday night. We might see a few cloudy patches here and there, but overall it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend. Some might even call this the weekend of the summer temperature-wise. Right now, we're sitting at 23 degrees in Kitchener-Waterloo, Windsor 24, Toronto 24 as well. This is the nice part, though. There's no humidity, as we felt earlier in July. Now, that is going to change in the coming days, but we may as well enjoy it while we've got it. Still sitting at 23 with no humidex at the moment. Daytime high, just 24 degrees, so sitting a little bit under our normal of 26 this time of year. Back in 2006, it was 34.4, so it certainly could be a lot warmer start to August than we've experienced thus far. As I mentioned, overnight lows are just 9 degrees. That's well below seasonal for this time of year. It's going to feel a little chilly, but I know a lot of folks out there will welcome it. It's been a hard summer for a lot of folks without air conditioning overnight. This is going to be a sleep easy kind of night. Open up your windows and enjoy a nice cool breeze. Tomorrow conditions will feel much more like summer. 26 degrees, sunny with a UV index of 8. So make sure you're sun safe, put on your hats, and you definitely want to wear a little bit of sunscreen. Our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo region, sunny and 29, Alex, on Sunday. So going to be beautiful, mix of sun and cloud from Monday on to the rest of the work week with highs in the mid to high 20 range. So certainly nice and warm there. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar conditions there are 28 with a mix of sun and cloud pretty much through the entirety of your long weekend and into next week. And in southern Georgian Bay, also very nice to start your weekend at 24, mainly sunny, and that sun sticking around to really welcome in August. Absolutely gorgeous indeed. Let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher photo. Now, this was sent in from Ron this morning at Miller Lake, and in the email, Alex, he asked, can you hear the loons? And you know what? I feel like I can.
You know, I think I can hear them too. It's the perfect setting for that very distinct loon sound that we all know and love here in Southern Ontario.
I was going to say, this screams Ontario in the summer, and it's just beautiful. Ron, thank you so much for sharing it. It's absolutely stunning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ash. U.S. President Donald Trump has boosted tariffs from 25% to 35% on some Canadian goods. He cites months-old countermeasures and claims Canada has failed to curb the flow of drugs at the border. As CTV's Rachel Aiello tells us, it has riled Canadian leaders and revived calls to retaliate.
Do you think the government should retaliate? Have you spoken to the premiers at all about these recent tariffs?
Federal ministers had little to say today when pressed on Canada's next steps.
Prime Minister's trying to get the best deal he can for Canadians.
That wasn't the case when it came to provincial premiers.
We need to control what we can control. First and foremost, that is controlling the opportunities that we have in advancing our Canadian economy.
Or border town mayors.
Well, I think everything should be on the table. And, you know, two can play the game.
Retaliation wasn't mentioned in the Prime Minister's post-midnight response to the escalating trade war. In a statement, Mark Carney said the federal government is disappointed by the U.S. action and will act to protect Canadian jobs. He also took aim at Trump justifying the tariffs on the basis of the cross-border flow of fentanyl, but said this country will continue to negotiate with the U.S. while working to make Canadians their own best customers. The Canadian business community slamming Trump's justifications.
We know it's false. They know it's false. This is the pretext that's being used to try to defend these tariffs in the courts.
While there's relief that exemptions under the North American Free Trade Agreement remain, stakeholders want the revenue from Canada's countermeasures to start flowing to those on the front lines of the trade war.
It's right now all bad, not at the end of the rope, but pretty close to it.
Trade experts say while the current situation is not ideal, no deal is better than a bad deal.
A good deal for Canada is not just a baseline tariff with a USMCA exemption. It really is getting to the heart of the problem for us, which is those sectoral tariffs, those industry-specific tariffs like steel, like autos.
Carney's lead minister on the file is coming back from D.C. tonight without meeting with any new Americans today. But Dominic LeBlanc's office assures us he is keeping in contact with his counterpart, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, from global markets to Canada's economy, the impacts of tariffs are far-reaching and also a little confusing. There are exemptions for some products, while certain sectors are getting hit harder than others. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin reports.
Touted as an escape hatch from some of the tariffs, CUSMA may shield some businesses, but how much? The deal signed in 2018 by Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. exempts a wide range of products from tariffs. Take grown and raised in Canada food products. They're covered by that free trade agreement.
If you look at some of the products that we export, those are unprocessed products, live animals, live hogs, live cattle, wheat, canola, those sorts of things. Those are pretty clearly and obviously Canadian.
And a big percentage, 86% of Canada's exports, have the potential to qualify for that exemption. That's on paper, though. In practice, only nearly 40% of trade happened under CUSMA last year. Many exporters, particularly smaller businesses, have not filed the compliance paperwork.
And what I've been seeing is that more and more businesses are rushing to become CUSMA compliant. Something that I have been criticizing for a long time, that in Canada we have that complacency, or shown this complacency, we have had this free trade for a long time.
And for sectors not covered under CUSMA, the trickle-down costs will also add up for consumers. Take the 50% slapped on aluminum.
Any canned drinks will increase per can between 3 and 5 cents, right? This is the net effect or cost on the producer of the canned drink. But by the time it's handed down to the tariff, it's 10, 15, 20 cents to the consumer.
Other sectors like steel, lumber, and automobiles have also taken a big hit, and the cost of things like appliances are likely to keep going up. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
From borders to beats, the political climate at one of Canada's largest music festivals. Coming up, music lovers weigh in on the ongoing trade war. Voting wrapped up today for unionized workers at Canada Post, weighing in on the Crown Corporation's latest contract offer. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers had urged its roughly 55,000 members to reject the proposal. It includes wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years, but also adds part-time workers that Canada Post says are necessary to keep the service afloat. The Crown Corp said the deal on the table is its final offer. The vote took place after the federal government intervened in the ongoing labor dispute. The results have yet to be released. Despite the strain Donald Trump's trade war has put on the relationship between the U.S. and Canada, some of the biggest artists in America and many Americans are in Montreal this weekend for Osheaga. CTV's Christine Long has more on the effect, if any, the trade war is having on music lovers.
Osheaga brings in 150,000 music fans over 3 days, plus an army of staff working the event. The forecast for the 18th edition is sunny, but the political climate has thrown some shade.
The uncertainty about tariffs and uncertainty about the border have a larger impact than the tariffs themselves. They do. And uncertainty generally, when it passes a certain threshold, is really toxic for investment. It's toxic for business.
How it impacts the Canadian dollar and how it impacts, whether people are comfortable going back and forth over the border.
Julian Karagesian of McGill University says trade and tariff talks also affect tourism.
Year over year, June 24 to June 25, the latest data shows that visits by Americans by car, so over the land border is down by 11%. And by air, I think it was down by almost 1%.
Yet, the founder of the Osheaga Festival, Nick Farkas, says this weekend is almost sold out.
Our Americans our sales are pretty much on par with last year, versus Quebec, Ontario, America, outside the international sales. So far, looking pretty similar to last year and the year before. So we're encouraged to see that the Americans are still coming.
Americans are still coming, except for some sponsors, says site director Eric Fortin-Lambert.
Yeah, because of the what happened with the USA, some sponsorship were not able to be here. Yes.
But you have other sponsors? You have Canadian sponsors?
We have Canadian sponsors, yes. Yeah.
The economic ups and downs of putting on the biggest festival of its kind in Canada are matched only by the high notes on stage.
I feel like my set is like a roller coaster. Like it's really, I start very high energy and I go a little bit down and then up. And there's tons of things. We clap hands, we go down together, we jump. It's a nice ride.
Osheaga rolls August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at Parc Jean Drapeau. Christine Long, CTV News.
Some LGBTQ+ summer camps in Ontario are struggling to meet demand as they grapple with funding losses. Many corporate sponsors, including ones with U.S. ties, have started pulling their support. This over concerns that funding LGBTQ+ organizations could spark backlash from President Donald Trump. His administration has been targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. One Canadian camp reportedly lost 25% of its funding this year. The shortfall is forcing camps to put kids on wait lists, with some concerned they'll have to shut their doors. Uber says it has made updates to its safety protocols after one of its drivers unknowingly drove off with a 5-year-old child asleep in the backseat of their vehicle. The company issued a statement today following an internal review into the March 10th incident. It said that while the child was safely returned to their parent, it took more than an hour for Toronto police to get connected with the driver. Uber says it has implemented multiple updates to specific safety protocols, and in-person training sessions with Toronto police officers have been scheduled for the fall. Health Canada has issued a recall of a children's play kitchen after it was linked to a death south of the border. The item in question is called the KidCraft Farm-to-Table Model Play Kitchen. The company says it received a report of a toddler getting stuck on one of the metal hooks on the product and dying of strangulation. No other incidents have been reported, but several thousand units were sold in Canada. Health Canada says to immediately stop using the recalled units and contact the company for replacement parts. From horticulture to sculptures, after the break, our In Our Nature series caps off with a visit to the gardens in Galt. Throughout the summer, we've been highlighting nature trails and outdoor spaces around Waterloo Region. The 10-part series In Our Nature wraps up tonight at the Galt Horticultural Society Gardens.
Today we're at the Galt Horticultural Society Gardens in downtown Galt. This area is maintained by a group of volunteers, the Galt Horticultural Society, and they maintain these garden beds to encourage pollinators and to just add some garden aesthetic to this area down by the Gaslight District. As you're walking down Grand Avenue, this area catches your attention. Obviously, the bright colors of all the flowers, the pollinators that are coming here. There's something that's flowering all throughout the season. There's peonies, there's echinacea and coneflowers, there's butterfly bush. There's a variety of flowering species that you can find here. Just a short walk down the trail, we've relocated now to the Cambridge Sculpture Garden. Here you'll find a mix of gardens and art installations located just off the trail along the river. You'll see that there's a real mix and blend of kind of man-made structures and then natural areas, gardens, trees, kind of a blend of how art can incorporate into nature. In the center of the sculpture gardens lies the grand oak. Just for perspective, you can see the actual diameter of this tree is very large and it continues to grow larger every year. Now we've relocated to Craig's Crossing, which is the pedestrian bridge that connects both sides of the Grand River here in Galt. And it's a great and busy area for people to cross both sides of the river without having to cross on one of the traffic bridges that are in downtown Galt.
Going back in time, Toronto audiences are taking a ride back to the future. The musical version of the hit show has pulled into the Ed Mirvish Theatre, and CTV's Andrea Case got behind the wheel of a very special vehicle.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
The film Back to the Future debuted in 1985.
My dad showed me the movie when I was a kid. He was a huge fan.
I showed it to my children. I saw it in 1985 many times. Love the movie so much.
1955? 35 years later, the curtain first rose on the musical stage show in Manchester, England, before moving to Broadway.
I found out that someone was leaving the show, and so I called the director who I worked with before and was like, hey, I was wondering if I can get in.
Oh, do like the Queen entrance?
Yes.
I've had many cars in my life. Long story, but this DeLorean is a one-of-a-kind. Only 6,681 of the luxury winged cars were ever sold. This is a replica, and even the actors admit the car is the star of the show. Lucas Hallower and David Josephsberg play Marty McFly and Doc Brown. Opening last week, the actors have settled into their run at the Ed Mirvish Theatre.
It's so nice to be here for 6 weeks and to be able to explore the city and see what Toronto's like, and so far it's been beautiful.
Still, if Hallower looks like Michael J. Fox, the actor who created the role, it's no coincidence. He says it's a dream role.
It's absolutely daunting at times because, you know, it is so iconic, but I am thrilled to be able to do it and hear people's reactions to it. It's nice to know that he's so beloved by so many people.
Make sure we're careful. Let me sneak by you.
Okay.
Watch now. Make sure he's okay there.
Yes.
Okay, and then we put it right in here. And then the car gets started when you start driving to...
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Life on the road can be difficult, moving from city to city, sometimes week after week. But this stint in Toronto comes with an additional benefit.
Things are great. You know, So in New York, when you work, you go to the show and then you take the subway and then you take care of the kids and you take care of the dogs. And here you sort of just get to do self-care all day long if you want. You can go to the gym. You could do breath work, which I do all the time. You could meditate. And so I'm feeling good. I even taught breath work to the cast once.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to
He's
keep doing
classes for us.
Yeah.
It's very nice, very kind of him.
We got to keep healthy. We got to keep our bodies, our brains, all of it.
This is wild. Back to the Future is on stage until August 31st. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Stay with us. We have more news after the break, but first, here's Ashley.
Well, it's shaping up to be a perfect summer Saturday. I'll have those details coming up after this break. Start your Friday night of entertainment with E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory and then Celebrity Jeopardy. Finish your night by back-to-back with Fear Thy Neighbor.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
You know, Ash, we've seen a few beautiful days so far. Today, definitely part of that list. And tomorrow looks like it's shaping up to be another great day. I'm very excited.
It absolutely looks like it will be. We're looking at around a 26-degree high for your high tomorrow with sunshine, Alex. And that also brings with it a high UV index. So you definitely want to be sun safe out there. Make sure you pack your hats and sunscreen if you are headed outdoors. Take a look at our wake up weather here. It's going to start off a little cooler at just 10 degrees. So if you're an early riser like myself, get out and get the dog walked nice and early. You won't break a sweat. But by 10 a.m., it's already going to shoot up to 19. So certainly, Alex, it's going to be a warm one out there. Definitely a perfect summer day.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Ash. And pop star Chapel Roan is out with a new song that includes a mention of a Canadian province.
I'm moving to Saskatchewan. It's just
If you caught that, Chapel Roan says she's moving to Saskatchewan, and the song is called The Subway. The video features New York City Transit. Roan first performed the single at a music festival a year ago.
And at the time, fans noticed the mention of Saskatchewan. According to the lyrics, that's where the singer joked she plans to move if she can't get over her ex. I mean, we've all been there.
Well, if there's any place to go in Canada, Saskatchewan, I guess,
Why
could
not?
be a good time.
I'm sure they'd open their arms to her.
I'm sure they will. Well, that's our time. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the CTV News app for news anytime. And both of us, we will see you here back here tonight at 11:30.
Have a